And so the sweet baby was there. Yes. Now put your hands out. Out! Way out. I'll show how I like to go crucify you, baby.
Nothing to feed upon but itself. It's a tiny meal indeed.
You know me?
And about your work.
My work?
Freak, Mama. Your eyes may shine and your teeth may grit. Lisa. Damn it. I'm here because I love you. Doesn't mean I have to let you shit on me again.
Don't worry. I know what I'm saying. You always talk about setting an example. Well, what do you think these children are seeing?
Miss Miller, what's wrong?
What's wrong? What's wrong? My ass. You know what's wrong. Look, if I was a white woman and I walked in here and wanted to get into my bank deposit box, I wouldn't have to go through half this shit.
They wanted it to be, sexier and more violent. Mm-hmm. And I knew what was going on. And my role, I think, gave them the blues. Because they didn't know what to do with me. I think that the black artist is international. The third world is larger than this which we see here. There is an audience all over the world.
Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you've definitely caught Rosalind Cash on screen. She made a splash in the iconic 1971 sci-fi flick, The Omega Man.
Don't screw up. I know how to roll, but it's hard on the elbows. And if you just have to play James Bond, I'll bust your ass.
This talented actress has graced our TV screens as Mary May Ward on General Hospital.
No life was ever lived without it. No life worth living.
She wasn't just any actress. She was a total trailblazer, one of the first black women to kick butt and take names in Hollywood. Oh yeah, she was ahead of the curve, playing characters that were strong, fierce, and definitely not afraid to speak their minds. It's like she was giving all of us a lesson in badassery before it was even trendy. Rosalind wasn't just an actress, she was a force of nature. With her smoldering gaze and that signature pout, she could steal the show in any scene. But beneath that glamorous exterior, there was a woman with a wild side. Prepare to be shook, because Rosalind Cash was a trailblazer in Hollywood, and you're about to find out why. Born December 31st, 1938, Rosalind Cash was born and raised in the glamorous Atlantic City and was the middle child of 4. Her folks, John Sr. and Martha, weren't exactly royalty, but they managed to churn out a brood. John Jr., Robert, Helen, and our star Rosalind. Now, Cash wasn't just your average kid. She was totally destined for fame from the start. She used to spend hours mimicking all the famous actors when she was younger, practicing her lines and perfecting her poses. It's like she always knew she was meant to be the center of attention.
To be an actor, or an actress, as some people say. I remember when I was very small in the Stanley Holmes village of Atlantic City, New Jersey, I liked to imitate people, and I was good at that. And
who were you imitating?
I was imitating mostly singers.
I fell in love with you the first time I looked into them there eyes.
Because I wasn't exposed to actresses. I was imitating Billie Holiday, Sarah Vaughan. Couldn't do Ella too well, but Dinah Washington. And people would listen. I said, this is something I do well, I guess. And then I would go to the movies with my parents, who were still very small, and I would see actresses, and they're mostly white actresses in, the big films, and they would project every human emotion, and I said, I could do that. But I always wanted to project what I was feeling around me, in my community, in my family, the people in my neighborhood. Okay. I wanted to do them. And at that early age, I said, someday I'm going to project my people. That's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it well.
This girl was a high school hotshot, graduating with flying colors from Atlantic City High in 1956. And where did she go after that? None other than the prestigious City College of New York. After college, Cash took the entertainment world by storm, conquering theater, television, film, and the recording studio. A true triple threat. This lady was destined for greatness from the start. And did she deliver? First things first, Rosalind Cash was absolutely stunning. I mean, hello? She had that perfect blend of class and sass with a jaw-dropping smile that could light up any room. Rosalind Cash was in everything, from Clute to Uptown Sunday Night.
I was hoping to paint the kids' room before they got home so they'd have some place fresh to come home to.
And even the spooky tales from the hood.
Consent to behavioral modification, and you'll be out on the street in no time.
And let's not forget her TV roles. She was a regular on General Hospital.
Jason and Keisha gave me a very vivid picture of how you handled him last night.
And made guest appearances on shows like The Mary Tyler Moore Show and Kojak.
That's really nice of you to say, because I know you auditioned, and I'm sure you must be disappointed.
She even tackled Shakespeare, playing Goneril in King Lear, alongside the legendary James Earl Jones.
Or bravo than a graced palace. Shame itself doth speak for instant remedy.
To top it all off, she was nominated for Emmys for her work on Go Tell It on the Mountain and General Hospital.
And so the sweet baby was there.
Talk about a career that's the stuff of legends. But let me tell you, it wasn't just her looks. Oh no, Rosalind wasn't just a pretty face in Hollywood's big machine. She was a force with an incredibly sharp mind and a talent that could not be ignored. Back in the day, filmmakers were all about making money, and they figured out that Black audiences were hungry for movies that reflected their experiences. So they started cranking out blaxploitation films filled with crime, violence, and all sorts of scandalous stuff.
At one time, I felt the pressures trickled down to me in terms of making the film more exploitative, as we would say, to make it more violent and sexy at the time. But
Is that what Lonnie wrote?
No, he didn't write that. He wrote a film that was a story, a mystery, about some people who were involved in some intrigue. But because there were Black players, I was told that they wanted it to be sexier and more violent.
Hollywood was supposed to be getting better about putting Black actresses on the map.
Dump him. If you sick him, ask him. Give him his walking papers. He must go.
But let's be real, they still had a long way to go in the 70s. But Rosalind Cash, she was a different story. Remember the Omega Man? She was like a total badass. Fighting off mutants and stealing the show from Charlton Heston. Honestly, that movie would have been a snooze fest without her. She was the real star of the show. Then again, Black actresses were often stuck playing the same old boring roles. And then came Rosalind, the total rebel. She wasn't about to let anyone box her in. She shattered expectations and played strong, fierce characters and basically told Hollywood, I do what I want.
I knew what was going on. My role, I think, gave them the blues, because they didn't know what to do with me. I refused to deal with the industry as interpreting my worth, you see. That says a lot. I want to work as an actor. I deserve it. I went to New York and I did a play. I'll work on television. I'll work in movies. But I don't seek this to make me complete. I'm an artist, and I think I will be an artist, whether the industry recognizes me or not.
Rosalind wasn't one for the boring, one-dimensional roles they kept throwing at Black actresses back then. Nope, she craved complexity. Deep characters that showed the full spectrum of Black life, not just the stereotypes. She wanted characters with layers, the kind that made you think. In interviews, she'd always say stuff like, I gotta stay true to myself. Basically, she wasn't gonna play some stereotypical character for a paycheck. So even though she wasn't that movie Melinda,
You said you'd be here.
I was, but there was no answer.
maybe it fit into a bigger plan of finding those deep, real roles on screen. Who knows? But one thing's for sure, Rosalind marched to the beat of her own drum. Her agent, the one person who should have had her back, actually had the audacity to tell her she was getting too old for roles and that her style was weird.
I've been up for roles, I didn't get them. My agent said, you're too light, you're too dark, you're too old. You dress weird, you have dreadlocks. Screw it. I don't care about that anymore. I'm going beyond that, You still rolling?
We're still here. It's like they've totally forgotten who she is.
I feel that we are international because we encompass it all. This culture, African culture, we've learned about the European culture. We're very bright people. We're very colorful. I think we're beautiful on film.
Rosalind spilled the deets about her time on The Cosby Show.
Sit down. I finished reading your last essay.
Oh, great. I worked really hard on this one.
And let me tell you, it's a story you won't forget. You see, Rosalind rocked her natural hair in locked form, and we all know how Hollywood can be when it comes to Black beauty standards. Well, one of the wardrobe crew members on set was totally freaking out about how Bill Cosby would react to her hairstyle. Apparently, they were nervous about whether her gorgeous natural locks would fly with the man Bill Cosby himself.
When I was asked to do the show, one of the people on one of the crafts, the wardrobe woman, was concerned about my hair because I wear my hair in its natural locked form. She said, I don't know how to approach Bill. I don't know about your hair. Everybody gets nervous when I walk in. He said to her, Rosalind Cash can wear her hair any way she wants to. And in the 12 years that I've been wearing my hair naturally locked, no one had ever said that to me. It was always, quote, a problem. It's no problem to me. But in the dealings with Hollywood and different shows, what are you going to do about her hair? You know, and the first few years I did wear a wig. Then I used to try to pin it down. And my agent said, well, what are you going to do? You have so much hair, you can't get a wig on. I said, well, I guess I'm not going to play characters that wear wigs in T-Mode. You know, what a relief for me.
Yes, I
because
understand.
it was always uncomfortable for me.
But don't worry, Rosalind was like, not today, Satan, and kept slaying. She didn't let that negativity stop her from pushing boundaries or speaking out about the struggles of Black women in Hollywood. She was unapologetically herself. Rosalind wasn't just funny. She was incredibly smart and strong-willed.
You're a Black woman. How could you do a thing like that? They're not going to like you. I heard all that.
I know you did.
Yeah. But it didn't change anything because I follow, my own muse,
She brought that same energy to her roles, making even the heaviest topics feel light and breezy. She was just naturally charismatic, and people loved her for it. So while she was serious about her craft and the story she wanted to tell, she never lost her sense of humor. Talk about the perfect mix of funny and fierce. From the red carpet to the silver screen, she was a true fashion icon, always turning heads on the red carpet and the silver screen. And we're not talking about just pretty dresses. She had this fierce, unapologetic energy that made everything she wore look like a statement. Rosalind wasn't just a movie star. She was a total activist, not afraid to speak her mind about civil rights and equality in Hollywood. She was always out there fighting the good fight, making sure everyone had a chance to shine. Talk about a true icon. She even co-founded this theater company called the Negro Ensemble Company, all about giving Black actors and stories a stage. Talk about a boss move. And get this, she once said, I'm not good at playing stereotypes. Can you imagine the shade? She was all about shaking things up and breaking down those Hollywood walls.
A lot of people didn't like my image. I was up for a role in an all-Black movie, and they told my agent, we don't like her image. She's too rootsy. And this is
the all-Black movie?
Oh, yes. One of the famous ones. It was like, they said, you used to be so pretty, And,
You used to be so pretty.
And then it came back to me that one very well-known African-American actor said, she's lost all her sex appeal since she did that. I realized that whatever the sex appeal that was being projected in Hollywood, in terms of the Western concepts, I wasn't really interested in that.
Rosalind wasn't just fighting for herself. She knew the power of what she was doing. She believed movies and TV could be a force of good, showing the world the real deal about Black people. And let's face it, she paved the way for a whole generation of Black actresses to come after her, all because she refused to settle for anything less than amazing. Rosalind Cash, the OG queen of fighting for what's right. And in her later years, Rosalind Cash stayed relevant, making her mark on the world of television too. But like so many legends, she didn't always get the credit she truly deserved. It's a shame, but hey, that's Hollywood for you. They didn't know what they had until it was almost too late.
I was commuting,
Yeah.
But by 73, and Poitier asked me to play his wife in Uptown Saturday Night, I made the move to L.A., which I thought was temporary, and then I started doing some of the situation comedies. What's Happening?
What's happening?
Nothing. Good Times. So alive, so masculine, so sensuous.
Well, what can I say?
I even did a Mary Tyler Moore during that, to say from 73 to 75 maybe.
Okay.
And that was moving along, and then it stopped. The hiring just screech. you know. I think that's when the epiphany occurred. It was like around between, say, 75 and 77. I saw that no one was going to give us work, and I began to reassess my place in this so-called industry and what it meant and how I was regarded and how it defined me and all that. I would be all right without the industry. And I would pretty much work as an actor, as a communicator, on my own terms. So I didn't work. And I lost the house I was living in, and they were talking about repossessing my car. I said, take the car.
It's a real tragedy that Rosalind passed away so young, just 56 years old from cancer. But let's be real, her impact will live on forever. She was a total game changer, breaking barriers and opening doors for Black actresses everywhere. While she might not have always gotten the recognition she deserved, she was a true icon, a style queen, and an incredible talent. Now, here's a little tea. Rosalind never married or had kids. She was all about her career, and she certainly lived life on her own terms. She was a trailblazer in the era when Black actresses weren't exactly running the show in Hollywood. An icon who didn't need a ton of spotlight to shine. She did it her way, leaving behind roles that still make us think, make us feel. The truth is, she may not have gotten the accolades she deserved while she was here, but now, decades later, people are finally starting to realize just how important she was. Rosalind was a woman who truly defied expectations, and honey, she did it with style. Think about Rosalind Cash, who was as bold and as brilliant as she was beautiful. And hey, if you haven't seen her